Hey guys, it's Javasta here, and to bring in the new year of 2024, what we're going to do is actually do a little deck building guide, right? Warno is an early access game. That means over the past couple of years, this game has constantly changed, adding new things, taking things away, changing the meta, nerfing things, buffing things. Therefore, I thought, why not bring in the new year by making a new deck that's, I would say, an all-around good deck that you can use in any game mode. So the first thing we're going to do here is head over to the armory. It is in the main menu. Now, one of the biggest factors in games these days, games as in 1v1s mainly, is what I play, 1v1s or 2v2s, is the power of a 10-man squad and a helicopter, my friends. Those two things are the backbone of every division. So going in here, there's a lot of different divisions of different countries that you can pick from. My choice, starting out, I would say you would choose an infinite deck. An infinite deck is something like 39th, where no matter how much shit you lose, you will still win because the availability is simply insane in that. So we're going to go over the 39th. It's an all-around deck. We're going to build a deck from there. Alright, so when you go into a deck builder, there's obviously a couple of things to take in account here. First one is you have 50 activation points to build your deck out with. As you can see, each tab has their own set of activation points depending on the division. Each division is kind of loosely based on a division during that time period, so they try and limit the amount of things you can have per tab just to kind of balance it a little bit. So first things first, in the logistics tab, you need logistics. I recommend getting one of these snabs, 1,000 supply, and also one of these 500 mini snabs, right? My main thinking behind this is these is what you're going to have on the front line, right? These are going to be resupplying your infantry with the necessary AT and ammo to keep the fight going. And also, certain things like small arms fire can't kill this. They have to use an AT round to kill this vehicle. So we're going to bring that, make them waste some AT. And this one, the big boys in the back, is to resupply our tanks and our helos, all our big things, ATGMs, that are a little bit farther back that need to be resupplied as quickly as possible and for a long period of time, hence the 1,000 supply here. Also, in every deck, you do need a command vehicle. If you do not know, if you're new to Warno, command vehicles are how you capture zones on the map. Each map has a certain amount of zones that will help you turn the tide of battle and get a W, points-wise. So we're going to have unarmored RKM in that tab, and we're just going to keep that there. I recommend keeping your logistics tabs pretty low, depending on your play style. Here, I would probably, this is for 1v1s, so this is more than enough. Okay, now coming into the infantry tab, a lot of things have changed over time. As you can see, there's a plethora of new units. There's also a couple new vehicles and things like that. But one of the biggest things is the implementation of traits here. Every unit, or most of the units here, have a specific trait that gives them an edge in battle, either support-wise or attacking-wise. In this case, the Commandantura military police, they grant a suppression regeneration bonus and remove unsteady traits from nearby units. Now, what is an unsteady trait? Unsteady trait would be something like the reservist trait. There are reservist divisions in this game, so if you get military police by those reservists, they turn out to be a little bit better for you in the end. But in this case here, first things we're going to do is we're going to start off with an infantry commander. I always keep one infantry commander in the deck because they're harder to spot. As you can see, their stealth is good, optics is good. You see here, stealth is bad, right? So somebody's pushing into the point and they can see the majority of the point. They're going to spot your CV and they're going to snipe it. But if you have an infantry leader, there's a harder chance of them spotting that CV. So if a game gets dicey, that's something we need here. We're just going to have it in a snab. Not a snab, but a UAS. As for our motor Shrelky here, there's a lot of different options. As you can see, there's an MTLB, a little carrier, a little MMG there, BMP1, BMP1 PG, which is the AGS, BMP2, and a BMP3. Now, one of the things that makes this division unique is that BMP3. You guys already know BMP3 is a formidable formidable thing here. As you can see, it has 5 front armor, 3 side armor. It has a tank gun that's purely HE and an auto cannon that is kinetic. You see that symbol there? It's like a little triangle with the circle in it. That means basically the closer you get to a target, the more damage it inflicts, right? So if you see a heavy tank or something that's tearing you up, if you can get these BMP 3s, BMP 2s, other kinetic tanks up closer to that tank, you have a greater chance of killing it very easily. And also this ATGM right here is killer. So we're going to get 2 of those. I recommend personally, if you're not cheesy, I wouldn't have more than 18 of a certain type of IFV in your deck. But since this is 39th, IFV crazy is kind of what it does. And as you can see, I did get the Motor Shoki with the RPG 22. That's the weaker RPG compared to the other ones, mainly because I want the BMP 3. That's the only reason why I have that infantry, is I want the BMP 3. The Motor Shoki with the RPG 22 might as well be cannon fodder to me. This is Stalingrad, bro. I just want the BMP 3. Moving up, though, we will get some Motor Shoki with the 20 pin. That is something we need in the BTR 60s. As for those, we wouldn't really get any. I do recommend getting Metis. Metis is a ATGM carrier, the range of 1750. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not too good, but it does delete the other opposing forces IFVs or vehicles that are close to you. Moving on down, as you can see, we now have ATGM teams, 30 Mike teams, which is basically a grenade launcher. And I believe, no, they don't have a 50 cal, but they do have a PKM. In this case, we're not going to go too crazy in the infantry tab. We are going to get some GOTS here. I don't know how to say it, so I just say GOTS. This to not be a little too offensive. You know, it's 2024. People are wild out here. Ground target range is 2,400 meters. That is amazing. It's only 16 pin, so it seems like it doesn't hit. But honestly, compared to all the other ATGMs Warsaw Pack has, the GOT hits the majority of the time. I don't know why. The stats say otherwise, but hey, trust me on this one. It hits. Moving on down, we do need some Superior, of course. Superior is a shock troop, so basically what that means is the closer you get, the more damage it does suppression-wise. See, there's a suppression. How do I word this? So cohesion is a big thing about this game. Eugen sells cohesion, stress, and suppression a lot, right? So the more a unit is stressed out and suppressed, the worse it does, right? If you get a tank in a tank battle, say a T-80 and an Abrams shooting each other, but that Abrams cohesion is lower than the T-80s, that Abrams is going to be missing shots. It's going to be taking a little bit slower to reload, and that T-80 is going to dominate. So that is why sometimes we have shock units, right? That can inflict way more suppression on the units we want it to. We want it to get up close and personal and turn the tide of battle rather quickly. And that's why some people also have military police in their deck, so that does not happen to your units. But I don't really care about that, all right? We're going Superior RPO. Flame Troopers, I do recommend you get as many Flame Troopers as you can in your deck. Flame Troopers are the absolute way to play this game right now if you don't have a 10-man team. And there's no 10-man teams in this division, so definitely keep your Flame Troopers alive. All right, as for these last 2 tabs, 5 activation points, in my opinion, is not worth it. I think 59 soldiers is way more than enough. Moving on to the artillery tab, depending on what type of play style you have, dictates what type of artillery you have. Now for me, I'm a very mobile guy. I do not like to sit still. When I see enemy units that I should arty, instead I kind of just smoke push and take them out, like ATGMs and things like that. My overwhelming force typically does the job for me. So the only thing I will get here is actually 2 sets of mortars. 120 millimeter mortars are very, 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 very lethal. I would say currently in the state of the game, mortars are the most powerful artillery in the game. Yeah, I think that is a very fair thing to say. Howitzers are very underpowered right now. MLRS is like, it's like a roll of the dice type of thing. Grad is extremely inaccurate, but it does quite a bit of suppression. Moving on to the tank tab here, something I highly recommend if you're building a deck with NATO. In this case, it's not really much of a problem with Warsaw Pack. You see these ATGM carrying Jeeps and MTLBs. On NATO side, I recommend you always take one of these with your tanks, solely because packed vehicles, as you can see, all the tanks here, they have ATGMs. Almost everyone here has an ATGM. That, my friends, is very, very lethal. You're trying to drive your Abrams up to a T-80, but the T-80 already took 2 ATGM shots off at you before you even got in gun range. That is something we do not want to have on the NATO side. But on our side, that's great. So we're going to get the T62 MVs. I recommend the T80 BV, of course. Most of these, I get 2 cards and I upvet them. Just so upvetting is tricky right now. There is a massive overhaul to upvetting, so things will currently change. But mainly the thing that upvetting does right now is keep your crits down, right? If you get routed, you come back quicker. If you get stressed out, low cohesion, it regenerates a lot faster. You have a better chance at hitting your shots. You know, typically upvet things. I recommend upvetting all your tanks. Besides T62s, these are basically cannon fodder. They do have ERA. Basically means any gun that's heat does not do as much damage. Alright, and then we're going to get the T62 leader here. And we're going to get a BK leader. Typically, I don't recommend getting a lot of tank leaders because sometimes they're just not worth it price-wise. But this, 220, definitely worth it. We don't really need to BVK. I do recommend... Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't recommend getting these base T62s unless you're cheesing. If you just need light tanks to spam around. Mainly because this factor right here, rate of fire 6. You go over to the T80B, you see this little dial here. That is an auto loader. That means the rate of fire is 10. Far, far better. And you can compete with NATO tanks way better with a T80 or another tank that has an auto loader. So I think the MV actually does not. Prior in the game, you were able to upvet it to get it to 10, but that is no longer a thing you can do. Alright, moving right along to the recon tab here. Reconnaissance is something that is very, very, very crucial in this game, right? My recommendation for 39th, of course, be to get these Mi-24K choppers. I use them as kind of territorial defense. If anybody gets behind me, I can spot them and kill them with one thing. I do recommend getting Mott Rizveka. Very good squad here. And everything else, I would get the Rizveka with the KPV. The reason for that is not really because of his optics or anything. There's far better choices on optics and stealth. It's just because you get 2 recon units. See, this KPV has the binoculars on it, so the transport it comes in is considered a recon unit as well as the Rizveka. So boom, I basically have 18 recon units for the price of 1. That is my recommendation there. Very, very good way to go. For 39th, there's a lot of things you should consider when it comes to AA. One of the main things being radar, right? There's suppression of enemy air defense or SEED in this game. So if you're using radar AA, it can be shot down by incoming SEED planes. So you would have to micro hold fire at the time to make sure your vehicles aren't destroyed. And I recommend if you are a beginner at the game that you kind of hold back on the radar at this time, even though it is a far better choice. The downfall of SEED planes will negate your whole AA net rather quickly. But that is the double-edged sword of radar AA. I do recommend though, no matter what, even though it does say it's radar AA, you need some sort of SPAG. SPAG just means an AA gun that moves, basically. Now get some Strela 10Ms here. I think Strela 10Ms are quite good. The bread and butter of every division here is the Helo tab. One of the main things that I would say about Helos is that some of them have ECM and some of them do not. you guys don't know what ECM is, that just means electronic countermeasures. So it's basically flares. When it's getting shot at by missiles and things, it'll pop flares. I have another video regarding the mathematics of AA accuracy and flares and that coming out quite soon. But right now, the fact that you should know, if it says it has ECM or not, helos have magical ECM. So you don't really have to take a look at that too much. What you do need is, I always get 3 MI-24V AA. They have, so all I have to do with this helo is low hover. It'll shoot the iglas at the incoming aircraft. And that's basically it. So most of the time they do survive. And I will also get 1 VP just to pack a punch with the Hokan missile. Air tab. It's a very beautiful tab if you ask me. Wow. A lot of things have changed over the state of this game. One thing I do recommend is the Su-27S. It is a very, very gorgeous plane. It is a very, very good plane. Come on. You guys already see here. Is that what? My math is horrible. Is that 10 missiles? It's 10 missiles, guys. 10 missiles. Air optics exceptional. Agility exceptional. 30 ECM. Look at the speed. It's beautiful. Look at it. My other recommendation here, it would be between the Su-24HE and the MiG-23HE or the MiG-27 LGB. Now, that's purely situational on your playstyle, right? If you're a guy who focuses on infantry combat, you want to take the towns as quickly as possible, I would get an HE bomber. If you're a guy that focuses on tank warfare and attrition, I would get something like an LGB, right? You're combating forces. LGB can snipe AA, can snipe tanks, and it can snipe infantry very, very easily. As you can see, it has 30 ECM, some pretty good agility, and the gun on here is good as well. You can strafe with it. So all around, good deal. So I'm taking that. Second choice here, I'll just get the Su-24 just to balance it both out. Now we have 43 activation points left, so I will go back over here to the air tab, grab an Igla. I feel like when you upvet it, it goes from 35% accuracy to 36. It's just not worth it anymore. They are reworking it though. We might pick up a BRM-1. We get get one more artillery piece. I think we're gonna pick up the D-20s. All right, now the last thing we have to do is name our deck. And now we can hop into a game and have a little bit of fun. If you guys like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys. Peace out.